Worldwide Denver Meetup group.
Sure is.
And just kind of go through those. I don't have the clickers, so this is all started to kind of take Denver out to the world. Denver, in the last few years, has had some awesome growth and good positive news in the real estate markets. So decided to form a little group, talk about commercial real estate here, but also blast it out to all of our contacts around the country and outside of the country. So for those of you that have been here before, we'll go through this kind of quick, but Denver, it's got everything. We've got the mountains, the hiking, the biking, the camping, skiing, winter, summer sports, all of your professional sports. We've got the basketball, football, baseball, soccer, hockey,
lacrosse,
rugby,
yeah. Men's and women's.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah,
We got all of
yeah,
those.
rugby
Men's and women's
right
sports, we
here.
got it all. Yeah, we got the window, we got the rugby.
Sure do.
So we are not your financial advisor, your accountant, or your attorney. The information that we gathered here is from sources we deem to be reliable, but we can't guarantee it. But it's good information that we've got from CoStar and other commercial professional organizations. Western Investor Network, who we are. Commercial brokerage, we do everything commercial real estate. So started back in about 2007. We do commercial property management. We do commercial acquisition, disposition, tenant representation, so everything on the commercial brokerage side. Leasing, obviously, along with the management. And we just started a Western Mortgage Investors, and we branded ourselves Western Group of Companies. So we have the Western Mortgage Investors, that's the new company. Western Investor Network is the brokerage company, and Western Management Services is the management company. So the mortgage company, we do hard money lending, we broker that and do it in-house, as well as non-performing notes and distressed asset work and sub-performing notes. So we really, anytime somebody walks in our door at Western Investor Network, we want to be able to help them with their commercial real estate need. And that will go down, or investment needs. So that will go down to the deal we just talked about today. We got a rental house that we're listing for sale that she needs to sell so that she can get into a commercial property. So even though that's a residential property, it's an investment property. So we're helping her liquidate that and acquire her new property for her business. So that's an exciting, smaller transaction that we're working on right now. So top rate markets for commercial real estate investments.
All right, yeah.
I'm going to let Matt jump in here, and Matt's going to handle Las Vegas for us, and AJ is going to handle Denver, and we're going to kind of meld the two together here, and then at the end we're going to do a little bit of a discussion summary.
Yeah, all right, thanks Tony, I appreciate it. Yeah, so as Tony kind of mentioned, the structure that we have in terms of our client-focused relationships that we have with our clients really allows us to delve into different markets and different product types. One thing that we've been working a lot in lately is the Denver market, obviously, as well as the Las Vegas market. Excuse me. And so, a big similarity that we're seeing between both markets is the growth. It's caused by a lot that we'll get into here in a minute, but if you see the fact that Denver has came from number 8 to number 7 in terms of where investors want to place their money. And then you have Las Vegas right behind them from number 19 to number 12. And you'll see here in a little bit when we get down into further in the slides why why Las Vegas is making such a good jump from number 19 to number 12. They're definitely catching up to us in terms of where investors want to place their money. So good, yeah, thank you. And this right here, yeah, there's Vegas. Seen it once, seen it forever, right? So first thing we'll start with is the industrial market and the differences between Las Vegas and Denver. And so talking about just Las Vegas, the biggest thing to kind of take away from this, so these first two bullets, it talks about the fact that in Q1 the absorption rate was at 1.3 million square feet and the vacancy rate 4%. in terms of, well, I'm going to let AJ actually compare that to how Denver is, but the biggest thing to just recognize is the low vacancy rate. I mean, you're at 4%, and it's the second lowest rate when it was calculated in Q1 2000.
And that's in combination with the 1.3 million square feet, which is a lot. That's a lot of square footage to absorb.
Exactly. So therefore, yeah. So you have a lot of growth coming in. Started, back in, yeah, exactly. It's growing very fast, as I said. If you hit that next slide.
Is that office or industrial combination?
Industrial
Yes.
right now, right?
We're industrial.
We'll go through all the product types and we gotta compare each. So.
Exactly. And a big reason that you have, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but the industrial space that we're talking about right now, the big thing to keep in mind is obviously the growth and kind of how we're comparing Denver's growth versus Las Vegas's growth. Also keeping in mind in industrial is the product type that is necessary when you need to grow cannabis. And as cannabis was legalized in July of 2017, you see a big increase of activity in the industrial space in Las Vegas. And so on top of that, you also have large purchases happening from investors outside the state as well as outside the country. For example, in March of 2018 in Las Vegas, the Clarion partners, they're actually acquiring properties in Las Vegas and in Denver. This particular property was 37 acres, roughly 700,000 square feet, and has been definitely identified as one of the largest purchases recently in Las Vegas by the Clarion partners.
So, industrial market for Denver.
Thanks, Tony. Hey guys, I'm AJ Snowhite. I'm going to talk about Denver in tandem and kind of reflect on what Matt's talking about here in Las Vegas. So, Q1 we have positive absorption here in Denver, 202,000 square feet of new space delivered. Our vacancy rate pretty similar. They had 4%. We're at 5%. There at the end of the first quarter, we have 4.6 million square feet of space under construction. The overall average that we're looking at on the lease rate is almost 8 feet, where Las Vegas is about 7 feet right now. $7 per square foot, where we're at $8 per square foot, plus triple net. So Matt just told you about a big purchase in Vegas by the Clarion partners. They're also acquiring property here in Denver. We're looking at $206 million that they just put into almost 2 million square feet here in Denver, which is the largest industrial transaction in the Denver market. It's mainly Class A industrial, and they got a deal at 106 square. What we're seeing right now in the market, for example, we're under contract over at I-70 in Peoria at about 117 per square foot. We're listing something at about 115 per square foot. So, these guys coming in, buying so much space, getting a pretty good price.
The caveat to that is we're BC properties. These are A portfolio in Denver, Colorado. Like this, very difficult to find. Clarion was lucky to get a hold of this.
Yeah, it's big enough.
And it's 14 different properties. So. Vegas retail market, and Matt back up with the retail side.
All right. You guys recognize this picture? Yeah.
Everybody's been on the strip,
Everybody's
right?
been to Vegas, right? Has anyone, actually, who has not been to Vegas here? Anybody? Okay. All right. So great. So right now we are doing a decent amount of work in Las Vegas. Working on a couple things. So if you click on here to the next slide, we can kind of jump into, I'm going to talk a very high level of what this slide is basically representing. If you look at the net absorption rate compared to, which is up here, compared to the construction rate, and then consider also the vacancy rate, what we're seeing at a very high level is the fact that Vegas is building and everybody's moving into what they're building. I'll dial in a little bit of the details here. Your net absorption rate is how fast these properties that are on the market vacant are being occupied, and your vacancy rate is how many properties are on the market that are vacant. The fact that you have 2018 net absorption experiencing negative, and you have your vacancy rate kind of staying at a pretty even keel, tells us here that you have a lot of new development, a lot of new retail coming into Las Vegas, whether it's because of the sports teams, the cannabis, whatever the case may be. You have a lot of people building in Vegas and a lot of people occupying space right away.
Supply outstripping demand.
Which is following suit to Denver. In my opinion, it's right behind Denver in terms of growth for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
Well, they're catching Denver.
Yeah,
They're
they're
catching Denver.
They're working on it.
What's the population of Vegas?
It's
It's smaller than Denver
it is like
by a couple 100,000.
Google's going to tell us here in a second, and
Yeah, we don't have that in our slides.
yeah,
Thank you for asking, though. No, we'll get that.
yeah. But I will comment on this. I'll say that in the first couple slides we talked about how we have every sports team, we have all every season. Obviously, Pioneer Cannabis is coming across the country. Las Vegas now has a hockey team. They now have a football team. They now have legal cannabis. They're in the desert and they're growing, and they are the next closest thing, minus Utah, Colorado, and Nevada, next to California. So they're going to keep growing, in my opinion. So, do you have any idea of that?
Yeah, I mean, Vegas is getting in the next 4 years, they're getting 3 more major sports teams. Matt just mentioned the football team. So the Oakland Raiders are going to be packing up and moving into Vegas. They're currently building the stadium right off the strip. And then in the next couple of years, they're also getting a women's basketball team and a professional soccer team, which I don't know that that's going to be an MLS team to start, but I imagine pretty quickly they're going to be working to get into that league. So pretty major entertainment growth in a town that already knows exactly how to entertain. Yeah, big stuff.
And those are all factors that larger investors look for. Sports teams, the hospitals, schools, etc.
Yeah,
Bringing
right.
Las Vegas, money into Las Vegas, just like it's happening in Denver.
Yeah, great point. It's all about growth. Where are the people going? As we are going down that kind of consistency, I was talking about big deals in each city. $87 million strip center was purchased in February 2018. It was a Phoenix-based company. We've talked about in previous Worldwide Denver meetings a couple companies in Phoenix purchasing outside the state, but it's another example of out-of-state investors coming into not only Denver, but Las Vegas as well, here with 35 acres, which is pretty large.
Yeah.
Denver retail market.
Great, thanks. So Cap, to answer your question, Las Vegas has about 600,000 in their population in the metro, and Denver we're sitting right about 3 million. So pretty significantly bigger here, but I mean their growth is at a very quick pace right now. So the Denver retail market, much like the rest of the Denver market, is red hot, as we all understand. Our net absorption in Q1 was negative, and that's mirroring Q1 2017, 110,000 square feet there. The average asking lease rate, we're looking at 18 per square foot plus triple net. And that's obviously going to vary by your submarket. I think downtown we're looking at 30 plus. And you get out into the burbs, and maybe you're closer to 15. But we're landing right at about 18, 19 as an average. And another great stat here is that Q1 almost 1.6 million square feet of retail space was under construction. So I mean this, it's not stopping anytime soon.
A little caveat to that, we've been talking about prices per square foot in Las Vegas and Denver. So when we sourced a lot of these statistics, we found that Vegas uses a monthly figure for price per square foot, and Colorado uses an annual figure. So you might have seen them both on the Vegas slides. I think we left that in there, and only annually on ours, and that's why, because they use a monthly figure and we use an annualized figure.
Mm-hmm. Just like California does.
Right. Different areas will run different rates on that. They do it in just different ways.
Yeah. Thanks. So we have another major purchase that we'll outline here in March. A tandem of a Chicago and a New York-based investment team came in and took down the Southlands Mall out in Aurora, 142 million. And I mean, Southlands is a major mall. I mean, 1.7 million square feet of retail right there. I mean, that's, you know, one of the bigger malls in the country. But yeah, these guys took it down for 142, which is a big deal.
Back to the Las Vegas and the office market.
Not as big as Las Vegas, no. So,
Las Vegas is one big mall.
yeah, right? One big outdoor 16th Street mall. So, in this slide right here, you're kind of seeing something similar with the office space in terms of people building new construction and moving in, represented by the vacancy that is currently remaining that's been unchanged, but you have a positive absorption. So it's another indication of businesses, people, and just overall growth for Las Vegas, which again is kind of mirroring what Denver's had in the past. And the big purchase for office space in Las Vegas was by the Howard Hughes Corporation. It was, as I just mentioned, a 15-year build-to-suit lease. If once AJ gets his opportunity to talk about it, he will compare it to Denver, so that's what I'm going to let him do right now.
So I think, you know, in retail and industrial, we're seeing some similar numbers between these two markets. Here in the next couple product types, office and multifamily, is where we really start to see some of the big differences between these two markets. So Denver office absorption is positive, 260,000 square feet in Q1. Our vacancy is increasing to 17%. Average rents, we're looking at about $25 per square foot with all classes. Class A, we're looking at about $27 per square foot. And that's, you know, generally modified gross here in Denver is how we're doing those. And we have another 550,000 square feet about to be delivered. So once again, we're not stopping.
And one thing to kind of mention was the difference between price per square foot. You had 25 and 27 here, very similar in terms of all classes versus Class A. When we looked at Las Vegas, there was a huge difference there. Again, just kind of goes back to the development and Las Vegas kind of jumping on our coattails. Those are my terms.
Yeah, I think they just do business in casinos.
Yeah, right, yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. So big purchase we'll outline here was the sale of the Lodo Towers off 17th Street, which a Los Angeles-based concern came in and took down for $189 million right downtown.
Back, we're into the multifamily and back to Las Vegas.
All right, so Las Vegas. Las Vegas, as you guys know, it's huge, right? In terms of what they are offering their tourists as well as what they're building. And so some of these numbers right here just kind of represent the fact that in, well, I'll start at the top. You have a very similar cap rate in Las Vegas as you do in Colorado, Denver. However, the price per door as well as the average number of units sold, the average number of units sold is at over 222 units. The size of the complexes that are selling in Denver are much larger than, in Las Vegas, are much larger than they are in Denver. Therefore, there's only been 9 transactions total for a very large volume, and the square footage is very small, but you have a lot of units. So, in all, what we're seeing is Las Vegas is making much larger transactions with much larger buildings and a lot more units. And
That holds your price per door down at just under 100 grand. You see Denver will be a little bit higher than that.
Yeah. So keep that in mind exactly. A little less than 100, per door. And then an example of a very large apartment complex transaction in 2017, the end of 2017, was a Vintage Point apartment complex. And again, out-of-state money coming in, Texas money, seeing the opportunity, purchasing it at $133 a square foot, a little higher than market in terms of what we just talked about. And another great example of why Las Vegas is growing so fast with a lot of money coming in. So.
Denver multifamily market.
Yep, and we all know
See what
this is
fire looks
a
like.
big one, really though. So we're starting with a very similar cap rate, but we're going to notice some major differences here. Average price per door, we're under 100,000 in Las Vegas. Here, over 200 in Denver. Where Las Vegas had the average number of units at 222, here in Denver we're at 40. Average number of square feet, so we're seeing a much higher number of transactions because we're working on a smaller scale. Smaller units are moving around here at a much quicker pace. And our total dollar volume for multifamily is almost double what's going on in Las Vegas. So where you might not see a lot of room here in the Denver market for multifamily, Vegas feels like a place where you might be able to jump in and see some margins. One of the major transactions here we're going to outline in May, down in the tech center, Goldman Sachs took down 408 units at 121 million. So 270 square feet. Your average price per door were almost 300K, and $450 a square foot. So it's a big deal. We like those big deals.
We're going to move into sustainability for each city now. So,
Has anybody ever thought about all the lights in Vegas and how they're powered and sustainability? It's crazy, right? How many, believe it or not though, 100% of Las Vegas is actually, 100% receives their energy from renewable sources.
Of the city municipal working, so all powered by solar.
Thank you, yeah, and I want to make sure I got that right because in 2020, you're going to have the entire Las Vegas Strip, all those lights I just mentioned, powered by solar. So I want to make sure we kind of differentiated there. But fact is, you have a little city in the middle of the desert being powered by solar. And so I don't know if anybody's looked at land and the land banking opportunities when it comes to solar and land, but it's there, and this is a big reason why. Not only Vegas, but California as well. So
Elon Musk right here.
yeah. So exactly. So great opportunity there, but not to get in that rabbit hole of solar panels, but to talk more about the sustainability of two of the fastest growing cities in the country, Las Vegas and Denver. Really just want to highlight the amount of bike lanes, 100 miles of trails and paths. I mean, as we highlighted in the beginning, you want to be outdoors if you're in Denver. Las Vegas, probably the same as well because of the weather, but at the end of the day, two great places to be in. You also have things like the bronze-rated bicycle-friendly community by the League of American Cyclists. So something that kind of I hold close to myself is just getting communities together and allowing people in the community to kind of do events together, whether it's giving back or whether it's riding bikes together. Denver or Las Vegas has a lot of transplants, and being from Ohio, my opinion is that they're both cities doing a lot of things to welcome their guests and really make it a place that people want to stay forever. Because why wouldn't they? The weather's amazing. So yeah, with that, I'll let you
we'll move on to Denver, and I'll just add for Las Vegas, you probably don't want to be outside when it's August.
That's kind of
Yeah. But,
Okay, not for long, not for long.
I mean, that's one of the things that people don't really think about Vegas is the idea that you really do have a lot of outdoor stuff. I mean, Matt touched on the bicycle stuff here. One thing a lot of people don't know is that Las Vegas has some of the best rock climbing in the world. This is a mecca for rock climbers. Travel, all across the world coming to Las Vegas just to climb. And the people who live there know that. They're out hiking and they're doing that. So, I mean, the growth is powered by things like this that maybe are hidden gems, hidden secrets. Denver, obviously we have our own rock climbing scenarios and we have our own biking scenarios. Here at the beginning of the year, we had the Green Roof initiative, which has all the landlords in the room knocking their head against the wall. Certain amount of square footage deems a certain amount of green energy or plants on the roof, things like that. And that's one way that Denver is trying to push the sustainable idea. More than 100 miles of multi-use trails, 130 miles of bike lanes, 39 miles of Sharrows. If anybody can define that, I will give you a cookie.
Really? Do we have
Anybody know what a shero is?
Well, she can. You're not playing. You're not allowed to
Shero
play.
is?
No, idea.
So a sharrow is that small bike lane that is right there on the road. I didn't know what it was until I started researching this. Am I incorrect, Candace?
Yeah, it's sharing a bike with a car.
Yep,
basically.
sharing, exactly. It's bike and a car.
Orange bike
So,
lanes, you
the
get
bike
all
lane
mad about the
is the
bicycles
shero.
blocking your way.
Yeah,
That's
who
what
knew?
goes on.
Las Vegas doesn't even have
Who
that
knew?
word in their.
Yeah.
Is
that like what
across
they
the solid
put on-
line, it's a $140 fine.
Yep, and probably pretty painful. So,
It's like a little picture.
this guy's going to get the shero right now. But, good luck to you, buddy.
That's what I hope.
Because, you know, forget everything else today. Just remember.
Yeah, you learn something, a
Learn
shero.
something. The dang sheriff. You know, Denver also has the RTD system, the light rail that we're expanding in a big way, and that's another avenue that the city's taking to in an effort to be.
And go back. So the summary, we didn't really put any PowerPoints up there. We're just going to kind of do an interactive discussion and see if you guys have any questions on the two, and then we'll just kind of bring it all together. So
Yeah.
you want to roll back through the slides, you just want to take really kind of your choice. Let's leave it up to you guys.
Yeah. Do you guys have any questions or thoughts? I guess we can start there.
I got a question.
Yeah. What's up, Kat?
What's the situation as far as water availability for Nevada? I mean, I know where it comes from. It comes from Lake Mead, but I know the depth of Lake Mead continues to drop. How's that going to affect Las Vegas? Did people talk about that out there?
It's a great question. I know, Tony, you've looked at a couple water deals in Nevada. I know.
Yeah, it's tight, but they've got plans in place to handle that. I don't know exactly what they are. I didn't look that deep into it.
Yeah.
Ours was a large water project, a note deal actually in the northwest corner of the state. So
I know they're doing a lot of things trying to pull it out of the ground, and I know that there's also technology that they're bringing into this as well. You see here in Colorado, in some of these reservoirs, they'll have these basically little black balls that they'll put on top of the surface of the water to help reflect the sun in an effort to stop any evaporation. Thanks, Ken. So different things like that. I know, you know, they're making an effort to keep everything they have, but I mean, it's a great point, Cap. You know, growth is always limited by the amount of water you can get. So,
and
you
we
know,
got the same problem here. You've got some land parcels north of Denver that have sold the water rights and are really worthless pieces of land unless you can secure some more water. Because the municipalities, and I don't know if Nevada is the same, but here you have to bring them water rights if you want to develop in order to get your development approved. And I'm assuming Las Vegas is the same, and Nevada would be the same, and they're, you know, it's a desert. They're probably hungrier for water than we are.
Yeah, correct. And I don't know the exact statistics, but I do know the water in Colorado and Denver is already paid for before it hits the ground. And I would assume it's the same in Nevada. If it's not, it will be soon, in my opinion, because of the amount of growth. If you saw the population comparison between Denver and Las Vegas, I can only imagine that they're going to be holding that resource close to the chest, so to speak, as we are.
absolutely. And I mean, I believe it was in the last couple of years that Colorado decided to hold a very significant amount of the Colorado River here in the state, you know, to the detriment of, you know, places like Las Vegas. But at that point, all that's telling me is it's a numbers game, right? They've got plenty of money down there, and they're probably just going to have to start paying a little bit more for the water and for the growth.
Yeah,
So-
so I want
Now,
to
isn't there,
water transportation company.
isn't there an agreement that we have promised so many acre feet to outside of Colorado?
100%, yeah, and that's what I was referring to a couple of years ago. Colorado went ahead and kept a lot more of that,
So we
significant
changed
amount.
that? How did we do that?
So like
That's a-
River, as the Colorado River Compact in 1922. There's 7 states that are part of it.
So we renegotiated that?
Well, that's what it was.
Well, we
all-
just said the hell
I don't
with it.
know that. That's when the original agreement was signed.
Yeah. Because the
Yeah.
problem was is they weren't getting a percentage, they were getting a fixed amount. So if we only had, you know, a certain amount, we had to give that part away, which left us short. So that's the problem. And,
Same thing on the
we were-
plat
We were on
northeast.
water rations and they were watering their lawns in Phoenix.
Yeah, you know,
So.
and our state and the river
Phoenix,
share
Phoenix,
names.
which is kind of ridiculous. It should all be gravel.
It should,
So-
it should be. You're not wrong.
So,
We could put in AstroTurf.
yeah, AstroTurf.
That's
or-
even becoming popular here,
Or
right?
like in Texas, green gravel, so. But, so that's, but it's interesting, I didn't realize that they would change that, okay.
I think that they amended that. I don't know if it was the original agreement that they amended, but we did go ahead and keep, you know, quite a bit more here in the state.
You've got some very good water attorneys here in Colorado. so
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think
something to
Oh,
investigate.
yeah.
I've heard people say, you know, yeah, that Colorado is doing okay on the water in terms of availability, but it's just so controlled that it's already paid for. But we do have enough.
I've got a good buddy, formerly in planning in the water board, so have a conversation.
Yeah.
Find out what the inside information is, because sometimes you don't get the inside information, because they don't want to let it out.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I'd appreciate
And I'll
if you
share
had
it
it.
with you guys.
Yeah, I'd appreciate it if you shared that. That would be great.
Yeah.
Got another question?
Regarding the green roof initiative, does marijuana count towards my roof?
I mean, you could
It
probably
makes some extra
plan it up
profit
there
off that,
for a
or-
while. I don't think that
He's
the
being
city-
sarcastic.
Yeah, I'm just
If it
kidding.
increases your income, no, it does not count as.
For
a
those
green
outside of Colorado, he's being sarcastic.
Yeah. One of the things we have seen is people putting greenhouses on roofs here. You know, I've walked through a couple where they are growing some marijuana up there, but that does not count toward their green roofing. So
good to
they're not
know.
checking that box.
Now, one thing about pulling water from the air, pulling it deeper in the ground, and then all it takes is energy.
Yeah.
So if they're really pumping, no pun intended, if they're pumping more and more types of energy, alternative energy, and get the price down, that means it gives them the ability to do more things. Everything from wind to, like you said, you can pull water out of the air.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if it's pretty dry, you can still do that, because
Yeah.
there is a certain amount of moisture. So, but you just need the energy. And,
Yeah. And I'm sure Elon Musk is going to figure it out. You know.
Just your opinion, or if there's been, obviously been talk about the fact that the federal government has now said any state can legalize gambling. What's that going to do to the gambling business in Las Vegas? I mean, that's obviously where everybody placed their bets.
You know, in my opinion, Las Vegas is not just a gambling town, it's an entertainment town. And I think bringing these big sports teams is an effort that they're making to broaden the draw of the type of entertainment that they have. So I think that not only is gambling going to continue to thrive there, but I think that you're going to see a different demographic kind of jump into that. You know, maybe somebody's coming to town for that football game who wouldn't normally gamble, but I think that, you know, they'll probably roll the dice while they're there, once or twice. So, you know.
Yeah, I'll segue into that. I think it can't do anything but hurt Vegas, right? Because there are a lot more beautiful places than Vegas that if they initiated gambling, people would want to go. So, but for now, their foothold is there and they're not going anywhere.
No, I
It's
know
like
that.
AJ
It's
said,
just-
it's an entertainment
It's going to start
mecca. And
dissipating it more
it's
and
going
more
to branch
states
out
legalize
and
sports
be
betting.
interesting to watch how they save it, how they save their
Yeah.
community. But
I agree,
bringing
and I
on
think-
sports teams is one way.
Yeah, and one thing, exactly, and that's exactly where I was kind of go is that in 2012, I spent a decent amount of time in Las Vegas, was working out there, and was with the locals, watching the local TV stations, and they were pushing for the entertainment side of Vegas, not necessarily the gambling. And so this was in 2011, 2010, actually it was 2010 and 2009, and what I was witnessing was literally Vegas understanding that there was a crash, no one had extra money to spend, they didn't want to go to Vegas to gamble. So Vegas was making that transition from being known as a gambling town to the entertainment town, and I actually got to experience it myself. So I think they're already trying to fix that problem because they saw the writing on the wall, and they just control so much.
Yeah, well,
But,
the recession was good timing for this legislation that just passed, because they kind of got their gears rolling toward
Yeah.
the entertainment mecca.
They're pivoting
Exactly.
is basically what they're doing. I mean, we're seeing music festivals, we're seeing art festivals out there.
The Arts District is getting a lot of funding. So the Art District in Las Vegas right now, they're giving a lot of they are really putting a lot of money into the Art District for sure, just to spread out what they can bring.
Shoot, we were just out there, watching the Knights, almost winning the Stanley Cup, and they've got, a 1,000-pound jersey on the Statue of Liberty in New York, New York. A big Las Vegas Knights jersey that took them a week to knit, So when we're looking at the whole scope, it's not just a gambling town anymore. It really is an entertainment place. It's always been an adult playground, but I think they're starting to rethink what the idea of the playground. They're really
Just
starting
remember,
to
you heard that first at Western Investor.
Yes.
Right,
1,000-pound jersey. Only we can bring you that.
Well, and that's another thing I'll mention too. If you think about this, I mean, lately I've been involved a lot in municipalities and understanding why rules and regulations are put in place so certain people can make money. They are creating that gray area. Whether I go down, what I'm getting at is this, is that you now have the Vegas government. In Colorado, you have the MED. They created the MED, Marijuana Enforcement Division. In Las Vegas, they do not have the MED. They have their government, and their government controls all of that. And so the government might also have a say in sports teams. Prices for my airplane ticket to fly there. I mean, it's cheap to fly there. They want you to go there. They control who gets to open a dispensary, who does not. Beyond measures that you guys could actually wrap your mind around, probably. So, understanding the powerfulness of the Las Vegas government, what they understand, in my personal opinion, to answer your question, they saw the writing on the wall a long time ago. That's why they're getting sports teams. That's why they're expanding what they'll bring in. But they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's very political. It's crazy. It's way worse than Denver was in terms of getting a cannabis license.
Where Colorado has the Marijuana Enforcement Division he was just talking about, Las Vegas is running all of their cannabis operation through the Department of Taxation. So they're not creating a new entity at all. They're funneling it straight through their tax program right now.
He talked about the government controlling so much out there.
Everywhere?
I'm one of these old timers that still gets the Denver Post 5 days a week. There was an article in the paper, I think it was today's paper. One of the primary elections was in Nevada. A pimp won the primary election. I thought that was newsworthy.
That's newsworthy. That's something. They gotta keep the lights on. That's what we're getting.
You got a question earlier? You still?
Yeah, when you're doing the presentation, there were a lot of, in the first quarter of 2018, there was negative absorption of space. At the same time, there's a lot of product is coming onto the market. How will that reflect the prices of that?
Exactly.
Like, let's say in a year or 6 months down the road, purely asking from the acquisition point of view, should we wait or maybe wait for another year to get a deal done?
Which sector were you talking about, Denver or?
Denver. I mean, it's
Vegas?
happening in Vegas too. There's a lot of product coming on market. And, I'm assuming Denver is diversified in industry. It's not just one. I don't know about Vegas, if they have the tech industry, oil industry, or other industry, but Denver has that.
And what's driving all the industrial growth out there? That's what I don't get.
So
It's at 1.3 million newtons.
See,
And
110 is cannabis.
the time frame that we pulled at, and I know a lot about the cannabis market. I'm not going to put it all on that, but if you see the numbers in 2009, 2010 in Denver, when cannabis first became legal, and compare them to Las Vegas, you see a lot of similarities because people that are able to will go up and buy a bunch of industrial. It doesn't matter if your industrial building is zoned for a grow or not, and it doesn't matter if your retail building is zoned for a dispensary or not. you now have a product type that is no longer available as readily as some of the other products, therefore it creates that demand. Whether it's false demand or not, the prices go up. And that's
So you
where I
think that that's what's really driven the industrial?
I think
I
it's
wouldn't,
a
a little
combination.
bit, a little. I think a combination, but I think that's a big part of it, yeah, in my personal opinion.
It's
That's
just,
right.
just growth. I mean, just a good economy with growth is gonna
The
increase that
growth,
some.
we have a
You're seeing there the
negative
same thing like
absorption.
Matt mentioned that we saw here years ago.
And when we said negative absorption, we were mostly, correct me if I'm wrong, but we were referring to the amount of space that was being occupied.
Correct.
Got it, okay, yeah. So the
So-
fact that people are still moving there, but spaces are being occupied, we're really looking at this, is this the construction?
Yeah,
Yeah.
1.6 million square feet.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big square
It
footage
is.
coming on.
It absolutely is. And I mean, I think it's a
Well,
combination.
think about it, isn't like 1 million square foot of that in Castle Rock alone? The
in-
retail development going in just outside of Castle
So,
Rock.
I mean,
Well,
as
Westminster.
a
Yeah.
real estate, as a commercial company, would you advise your clients who do the acquisitions, guys, hold on a minute, and too much space is coming on the market, you might get a better deal in 6 months to a year? What is your advice?
Well, I don't have a 6-month to a year crystal ball, but rates are low right now. I don't know what interest rates are going to do. There are a lot of factors going into judgment of purchasing a property. So you're basing solely off absorption and space coming online. We're still a good market. You invest.
Yeah, so absorption and space coming online, yeah, I agree with him. If you're an investor that's just looking at one thing, which I 100% don't obviously never look at one thing, but if you're just looking at growth in terms of population, I mean, I see Utah, Boise State, I see a lot of other cities growing at the pace of maybe faster than Las Vegas. But yeah, if I'm advising my client and he wants to be in a place where a lot of people are moving, Las Vegas is going to be one of my top options for sure. Just in terms of the numbers I've seen and what I can go on. Because like Tony said, I don't have a crystal ball, but I have data. And if you compare the data across multiple cities, and if you look at the history of the migration west in terms of the gold rush, the green rush, whatever it is, the beach, California's overcrowded. Everyone knows people are leaving California. They're coming a little bit further east. They're landing in Utah, Denver, Boise. What am I missing right now?
Yeah.
Seattle, thank you. Yes. So yeah, I mean, I do think that no matter what, these states in that line that I just said are all going to keep growing in terms of growth. And so I don't think that there's a bad play in terms of real estate because even Denver is a discounted market compared to New York and LA. And I'm telling you, and we're basically looking at Las Vegas as being a discounted market compared to Denver. So
And that's what I was
you can
just
lose.
going to go into
Yeah.
too. I mean, there's a lot of factors. We still got huge influx of people coming here, 20-some thousand a month. We are a bargain compared to the East and West Coast. That's why they're coming here. That's why we started this format, Worldwide Denver. They're at 3 and 4 caps. We still have 5, 6, 7 caps here. Capitalization rates, purchase yield on your return on investment, right? So there are a number of factors, and absorption or the leasing absorption would just be one. But you know, all signs are good right now. 6 months from now, could something happen in the world? Who knows? You know, looks like nuclear war with North Korea is off the table for the time being. But you know, you never know what could happen. Russia could do something stupid. You know, Korea could do something stupid. Something else could happen. You know, Hawaii could explode and go into the ocean.
Well, and that's
It's been
why
a volcano for a month now.
Right, yeah, and that's why we ask, one of the first questions we ask is, where do you want to vacation? Where do you live? Do you have any family anywhere? Because a lot of it's about lifestyle. If you don't have any family, any reason to go to Las Vegas, I'm not going to talk to you about Las Vegas. So when we consult with our clients and counsel with our clients, the first thing we're going to ask is, where's your family? Where do you like to visit? And then we're going to dive into where to invest with. In my opinion, you can't really lose in some of these markets that we're working in. That's why we're working in them. So.
Absorption is only one factor at the end of the day. Absorption is a really great way to look at what's coming online, what's being built, right? At the end of the day, you need to look at not just what's being built and what's coming online, but you know, the legislation that's in place that's going to help to drive this growth. The industries that are in place that are going to help to drive this growth, things like that. So,
Well, how many headquarters are moving in there to absorb million square foot, but also you have to
Yeah.
see. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know how many companies are moving to Denver though.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Well,
They announce new one every few weeks, few months. So
They really
they're
do.
still coming.
And as we, you watch that vacancy rate, and it's not moving too much, and they're still building. So.
No, I mean, I'm asking this question purely from the point of view if I represent a client to do their investment in Denver,
Mhm.
when they see, hey, there's a negative absorption in the first quarter, and I see a million square foot coming up here.
And I'd say look at the vacancy rate. How's that moving on you?
Or take a look at the historicals. That could be a skewed quarter just because a large vacancy came online.
Mhm.
or if you drive around Las Vegas, not on the strip, and you look around, you're like, oh my gosh, I can develop here, I can develop here, someone needs to develop here, someone's gonna make a lot of money here, oh my gosh, this is for sale, it's crazy. I don't know if you guys have driven around, but the suburbs of Las Vegas is blowing up because there's also just a lot of opportunity there for people. So people are moving there for jobs, for whatever the case, from around the world, not just the United States.
Yeah, I mean, you have very tax-friendly structures in a lot of different ways in Las Vegas that are attracting a ton of aging baby boomers. A lot of people are retiring in Las Vegas right now. That's one thing we're seeing.
Pointed at me.
I don't think I pointed at anybody in particular. But a lot of people a lot of people are retiring in Las Vegas, and because of that, we're seeing the medical industry expanding in a major way in Las Vegas. And where there's good medical, growth is going to follow.
I don't think anybody
A big part of that is Nevada has no state tax.
Yeah.
So we're 4.63%.
So Matt, when are you organizing
Is there
a
a
trip
state
to
income
Vegas?
tax?
We've been going back and
Not
forth.
in Nevada, there's no
I
state
think
tax.
we just wrote an LOI for full price offer.
Yeah.
For a property out there. I might be going out there pretty soon.
Yeah.
Let's talk offline. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I love it.
I mean, looks like Vegas has really found its way.
There's a lot
away
going
from
on.
Just purely people looking at it as a gambling town.
And I personally think legislation's 100% realizing that, and they're like, we want to be more than that, and that's what they're doing. Yeah, sure.
Summarize really everything we went over here. You look at the jump that Las Vegas made from 19th to 12th. We went from 8th to 7th. They're accelerating at a much faster pace than we are. I mean, they're doing a lot. They got a lot of positive things going on.
Yeah.
Looking at a bigger picture outside of Las Vegas, I understand that there are a lot of industrial growth along the border of California and Nevada
Mhm.
because of the personal property tax on California goods. So in other words, they bring all their inventory over to Nevada so that they're not taxed on it.
Yeah, I can speak to that directly. It's TIC, Tahoe Reno Industrial Complex. And
Yeah. So is that a continuing
right
growth?
outside of Fernley, Nevada. So what's happened there, and that's an Elon Musk deal. They've got the largest industrial park in the world under construction there, over 100 million square feet. And they're just, Fernley is just across the California state line. And California's tax is what? 13 point something percent, I don't know exactly. We're 4.63. Nevada is 0 in Reno, Nevada. They're situating this warehouse there to ship into Sacramento and the mid-northern California and avoid a 13% tax. It's a brilliant idea.
Even Tesla is coming there, right? For the battery.
Tesla is there.
They have
Elon
major
Musk.
factories.
Tesla, you got everybody there. It's huge.
Work here.
I can't remember the name of the tech company that houses their servers there. It's huge.
Oh, yeah.
Over 100 million square feet. That is a very
Where is that?
large complex.
Near Reno?
Reno, just outside of Reno, Fernley, Nevada is where we went. We actually looked at a project there.
Yeah, that's good.
We didn't do it, but we went.
How about down there on 15? Is that growing still? The Highway 15 to LA? Las Vegas to LA?
Yeah, no, I don't know Highway 15. I was in Reno.
Okay,
I
well,
was.
it's the highway that crosses the border, and that's where you have a lot of. the
Well, I'm sure it is.
industrial-
If that's between there, they're going to be trucking.
I mean,
Thousands-
from LA
thousands
to
of
Las
trucks.
Vegas is almost completely developed with giant warehouses the whole way out.
Still opportunity there?
I mean, I guess
You
I
got
think
money,
it would
let's find
depend
out.
on.
Let's go.
I think it would depend on the industry, not only
Well, it
not
sounds
only
like
the industry,
Highway
but
80 is, but then there's the 15
sure.
too, which
Well,
would
there's also
affect, of
train.
course, then you have the people serving that industry in Reno itself. Now, the next question is how about the startup community? Are they impacting the industrial buildings, or the mine buildings, or the, you get a startup come in and say, okay, we're building to do our
state,
thing.
like here or in Nevada?
Either place.
Yeah.
What type of startup?
Yeah.
Well, it'd be an industrial startup or something that's going to manufacture something or have a distribution center.
Okay, so you're asking if newer companies are starting to take down this space, and what's their percentage in
Yeah.
in,
But is
in the
that-
product type?
Yeah, that's really not something we track, but I think
Yeah.
I've seen something recently from the Small Business Administration that startups are the highest level they've been since before the recession. So, I mean, if you got a good economy, people are going to put money into a startup and start their business. And we're actually working on a smaller scale with a lot of startups that are going into space, leasing space, and buying small spaces. So you're seeing a lot of it right now.
And there's actually, and I don't know if this is happening in Las Vegas yet, but there are a couple groups that are giving their industrial space like a shared industrial space. So it's almost like a shared co-working office space. They're now doing that with industrial space for startup companies that just need space to put.
And you're seeing that in different sectors. So I was in Loveland just recently, and in the morning they had a crepe type restaurant, I think, and then in the afternoon it switched at 2 o'clock. I clean up my kitchen, and you come in and do your dinner restaurant. And so it's two businesses in the same location. Great idea for small startup companies that don't have a lot of capital that can share a space, because as space gets to 30, 40 bucks a square foot plus triple nets, that's expensive. It's really hard for startups to make that payment. So when they can share space like that, that's an awesome idea. I wish I'd have thought of it.
Yeah, millennials are the smartest generation that have ever existed. We do work together very nicely, and that's one of the things that we're actively doing, Kenton, is sharing space to
So I
make it
think we need to
affordable.
wrap it up now, and we'll be surprised that AJ is back.
I love it. I love
I've
it.
got my beard longer than his.
But
Not
you
for
know,
long.
you're not wrong. Generation Y is
I'm
bigger
not
than
wrong.
us.
I'm not wrong.
Hey,
But
maybe-
I'm going to make a comment on that, because that's how it should be, right? It's evolution.
Yeah.
They should be smarter than us. They should learn from every mistake that
Yeah.
we made,
No, absolutely.
everything that we did wrong. They should be better than us.
We appreciate it.
In a
That's
sense,
how it should be.
in a sense, I'll say this. Here's what it is. Hold on, without making it too personal, here's what it is. It is you really just, you have technology, you have access, you have the internet. People need to come up with different ways to make money. Everyone graduating college, millennials, they need to find out different ways to make money. We need to be more resourceful. We need to cut costs. We need to work. I hope that it continues to be one of those situations where we realize we have to work together in order to make it. And that's kind of where, a lot of it's being. My friends don't, the people, I'm a millennial, they don't own cars. It's not a status symbol for them. And so it's a way to get around, A to B. And so we're in survival mode, right? And so we're just, I think we're trying to make it work. And right now they took our picks and shovels because it's automated now, it's computers. So we need to figure out a way to adapt. And that's what I think the millennials are doing. And that's where I think Tony, and I love his mindset, is good, I want to empower everybody around me. Let's go to the top together. I can't, we can't get there alone.
It's not a competition between the boomers and the millennials.
It's not.
We're
It's
teammates.
not at all.
However,
We're in it together.
Matter of fact,
Sure are.
the boomers are.
He gets
great
younger
partners
every day.
for millennials.
That's what we do at Western Investor Network. We team up.
Yeah.
And building buildings. So I'm wondering if there's any sense in your visiting of Las Vegas, whether that is trying to be an epicenter, like Denver's trying to be an epicenter, and pull some of that activity from Silicon Valley into Las Vegas. It's very close.
It is, and I think, honestly, I think Elon Musk, in a lot of ways, is changing the world, and, Las Vegas is going to experience the benefits of that in a big way.
Okay.
The technology he's putting out is not only amazing, but it's right there.
Good.
It's a stone's throw from Vegas. He has factories all over the state, and I think he really is going to go, in a big way, change that market.
Good.
All right, so I'm getting the hook. Is there any last question on Vegas, Denver, combination of the both? Up both? We're good?
Next topic.
All right.
Next topic, commercial loan sales. So Stan Wood, Prologic Capital, and myself, Western Mortgage Investors, Western Group of Companies, will be presenting that at our next meetup. Hope to see you there.